Gambling and coke is not for sissies. Not for sissies. Not for some gangster in the township or for some person who earns 5,000-6,000 in a month. This is the stuff where you have to, you could earn like 30,000-40,000 bucks a month money, even just to get in there, they were able to do the stuff.
I do love watching people getting undressed and getting on with it. Even if I just have to sit and watch and not join in. It's almost euphoric. Yeah. I'm actually having some thoughts now, thinking about it.
I didn't mean to turn out the way I did. You understand? I mean, nobody says, wakes up one day and says, oh, I think I'm going to become a prostitute and sell my body for drugs. You know what I mean?
The last thing that I would think of when I close my eyes at night to go to sleep after I've said goodnight to the Lord is to think, what am I going to eat tomorrow?
Ik maak een besluit nou, een solid decision om te zeggen dat ik los vandaag. Maar dan morgen vind ik mezelf net weer in dezelfde ding. So ik neem het aan als addiction, van die feit dat ik kan lossen, die feit dat ik afhankelijk is van die ding, maakt me een addict.
Have you been in my shoes? Have you been where I've been? I've seen how. And I decided to live in hell.
Yeah. I tried to stop, I really tried to stop. Up into hell and back, to hell and back. 28 days to get my life back. 28 days to get back on track. I tried to stop, I really tried to stop. I've been to hell and back, to hell and back. 28 days to get my life back. 28 days to get back on track.
My life now, at the moment, I feel that everything I do is in vain. I feel like there's no way out, and that's why sometimes I resort to gambling and to drugs. And I think that has caused the deceleration in my life. Ja, ik was in graad 9 toen mijn pa sterven. Ik heb hem basis nooit gekend in mijn leven, nee, nooit een rol gespeeld in mijn leven. Nee. Hij is al alleen weet hoe hij niet zijn deel gedaan in mijn leven nee, als een vader. Maar ik hou het niet mee tot en met vandaag. Maar die naweek van zijn begrafenis heeft mijn gedachten gestrekt naar een schijf toe. Dat is goedkoop en ik kan het makkelijk rijden. De meeste van onze jonge mensen in onze omgeving is unemployed. En dat is een bron van inkomsten in huizen. And I think it's also what leads to them smoking. Ons weet wat doen niet goed aan ons, but yet we do it anyway. In 2009 heb ik bij de luchthaven in de bar gewerkt. Mijn duties was basically supervisory duties en customer service. Die dag voor ik die geld gevat van bij die werk, heb ik 1500 verloren bij de casino. Ik was down en out, ik heb niks geld gehad. Toen heb ik 2000 rand uit die kasregister gesteel. En ik kom huis toe en ik kom drank. Die geld uit samen met vrienden en we zitten geparty. En het is zo aangegaan tot en met ik gefire was van mijn werk. En toen ik weer gaan gamblen, toen ben ik 10.000 rand. En dan komen die 10.000 rand huis toe. En ons huis waar ik blij samen met Ante, maar ik heb niemand gezegd. Zij was bezig om je huis te renoveren en het heeft haar gekost om het uit haar eigen zak te doen. Maar met wat ik hier gegaan heb, met die dwellings en die gedranken en die getoffelery, ik heb ook niet acht genomen op wat ze gedaan hebben of wat ze gekort heeft en alle goede. die dag gaan en die drank het basisbeheer gehad oor my geld.
It's just it chills you, eh? It totally relaxes you. I've been using it as an excuse that that is what I use to keep myself off the hard drugs. I mean, I don't have anything against people who do. I mean, you get people who do, and they will smoke once or twice a week and whatever. They're not an addict and they enjoy it. But for me, I'm an addict. This is the block of flats that I grew up in when I was about 5 years old, 6 years old. My mother made me pack my bags and leave. She obviously called me back, but that initial kicking me out, I mean, at 6 years old, I remember, and I had a teddy bear that was almost the same size as me. It was very hurtful. Yeah, my childhood was very hard. I think my mother wasn't in a good space. When she used to drink, she used to sometimes, you know, it's because of me that my father left, it's because of me that no man wants her. At 14, I was a rebel of rebels. I wanted to drink, I wanted to smoke dagga, and I thought that it was my choice to have sex. I mean, if I could do it all over, I would do it all so much different. But the only thing is you don't get a second chance at being a child there. Yeah, so I was taken to industrial school and I ran away and I landed up in Joburg, got caught, ran away so many times that they sent me to reform school. And then I ran away and that time prostitution was in the clubs. In the nightclubs in town with the seamen. And that wasn't like prostitution though, like on the streets. That was luxury life. I mean, you know, you'd meet this guy, you'd go to a hotel, and he's normally so drunk, and you get 1,000 rand, 1,500 for the night. And I mean, if he was a seaman and if he was there for 3-4 days, you would meet him every night, and they were gentlemen. They used to tell you to go and organize some beers. Now in Woodstock, there used to be a shebeen, and right next to the shebeen used to be the merchant. So off you go. I mean, I remember going in my silk pajamas, green silk pajamas, and you come back and from smoking a button pipe, and the crackling's out, you got like 3 holes all over, and you come back 4 hours later, and the taxi driver's ready to take the guy back to the ship, but you still got your beers because you want to get paid for the night. And you still get paid, and then they still want to see you the next night. And I mean, that time it was buttons, so it was a laid-back drug. I mean, you know, you smoke, you earth, you come up, you earth again. And then when the crack came out, that is when everything went haywire. And this is where I used to come and score my drugs. And this is where I spent a lot of my time in Cape Town. Sometimes 5-6 days in a row, without sleeping, without eating. That's one thing about crack, is you can't sleep. You can't eat. It takes away your appetite. You just crave for one thing, and that's just more crack. Oh, not a nice part of my life was that. Sometimes, I mean, come Christmas time, there's no clients on the road. And, you know, the festivities is there, and you walk up and down, and sometimes you cry. But the minute you get drugs, you're fine, no? You just, it's like anesthetize yourself with the crack. It kills all emotion. All emotion. You are just in this euphoria of that zoom, that your hair feels like it's rising. It just takes over. There is no other drug like that.
There
the hill, but I never heard them ringing. No, I never heard them at all, until there was you. There's a big difference between people who are using tuk and heroin and marijuana and stuff like that in the coke world. The coke world is a world where Angelina Jolies and people like that dwell. It's a completely different world altogether. There you need to have something. You must be a good musician or a good artist. So these people meet you and they befriend you because of that. Nothing else, because you could, you know. And then you say, hey man, try this. You know, you've been playing for so long now. You must be tired, and you got to do this. And I'm tired. It's 2 in the morning, and I'm really exhausted. Just try this out. What the hell? What can I lose? So I tried out, and shit, man, I'm like re-energized, rejuvenated. And then you get into, you need now how much does this stuff cost? They say, okay, fine, it's like 450 rand, you know, for a gram, whatever. Well, you don't have that sort of money, but now you have like $100, and you go to the gaming thing and you see, hold on a second, you put $100 on the table, you know, best out of 3. Coke puts you on the go, so to speak. Playing poker or playing brag or any of these other games, you'll take risks that you never would do normally. And because of that, you're actually able to beat the guys, because most people play safe, you know. And those who then, when you make the money out of there, you generally, a lot of money goes to, you go back into buying more of the stuff if you can. So you decide, okay, fine, you need money for this and then the other, so you say, okay, fine, where's the game? One game and go on for a few days. I know I shouldn't, I know it's not good and all that. So, but I mean, guys, if I have the bucks, you know, it's always a chance, hey, hold on a second, I'll make it score. I'll make it score to get out of this nonsense. It's always a chance, you see.
To hell and back.
The guys that I'm into, it's always older men, 40 plus. I'm always looking for someone that can look after me. So out there at an early age as well, at 19 as well, I found myself in a relationship. I've always selected partners that are always busy. They've got executive jobs, you know, they've got businesses they have to go see to. So now I'm at home and I'll get on my PC. Instead of checking my Gmail or my Facebook, I actually go onto websites, especially onto Gaydar, where I can chat and hook up. I don't have my current profile picture on, but I do have something that I've taken maybe 5-6 years ago when the hair was all spiky, the skin was all tighter, you know, and great upper body. People just, oh, we want to meet up, you know. Drugs always seem to get me in very dark places, and those dark places I found fascinating. I loved it. I used to go to Heart House for a reason. Then it became, no, but you actually can go to the Heart House for actually relaxation purposes. We can actually go there and do a steam, do a sauna. But with all the guys around, I mean, who can't resist? And then it blanks out up there. Then I want my money's worth, basically. If it's 100 rand, it's 100 boys. My favorite is the steam room, because you can present yourself. It's steamy, you know, you can't see anything. You glide past everyone with your wet bodies. And I would just lay there and present myself, and I'll just say, you know, like, dinner is served, you know, and they would come for it, you know. And I like the idea that they push each other away from one another so that they could get there first, but and then I would just walk up and look at them and go, sorry boys, but it's not gonna happen now. And I would come back, and I love that. I used to get paid for it, and that's what I love about it. I like to be seen at the clubs. People look at me, they know exactly where I'm coming from, what I'm doing there, but it's also very, very discreet as well. But that was starting from weekly to a daily thing. I know that there are going to be some substances as well, so that's a bonus for me. But once it's done, I just want to get out. I feel almost, while I'm there, it's fine, but just once it's done, I feel dirty, and I feel like I've done something wrong, but I don't know how to explain it. Yeah.
I'm trained as an economist, and then I joined Environmental Affairs, the Sea Fisheries Chief Directorate, working as the Chief Economist of that department. It's intellectual work that I've got to do, and I've got to think, and I've got to research, and I've got to read. It's about a lot of, I don't want to brag about it or whatever, but it's high-level information that I've got to deal with. So I need to be at the top of my mind, and I would often feel that now I've achieved something, I've done something, whether it's work-related or personal or whatever, and I would think, I'm going to get something to eat, something specific. Sometimes you don't even think about it, and you just take a packet of crisps because you like it. And you got pepper steak? Yes. Can I have a pepper steak and a Coke, please? Okay, sure. Remember, the pie not too hot, eh? Sure. It is also that sometimes I feel a bit depressed, or I feel neglected, or whatever, then I would obviously also reach for food. The pie and Coke syndrome happened at a certain stage where I maybe felt that I was even more frustrated than ever before. And it was a highlight to my day, where I would start work in the morning and I would feel, I'm not being recognized, I'm not being valued, and so forth. And then I've got something to look forward to, and that's the pie and Coke at lunchtime. It became a habit, and as you know, it's easy to get into a habit. It's very difficult to get out of it. On the one side, I think it's a question of me trying to make sure I'm not hungry, so I'm sort of always a few meals ahead. But it's much more about what I would call in Afrikaans lus. I don't want to say I love food because it sounds funny, but I like to eat and I like to cook. But I know that my portions are not right. I have difficulty once I start to eat to stop.
I couldn't stand actually having something in my stomach. The feeling was not right. It just didn't feel right. And I thought if I'm small, I'm a size this, I'm a size that, I'll actually be happy. But I've been just about the smallest size I could actually ever be. I've fit into a size 26 Levi 30 leg, but I've never been happy. I've had my first diet pill when I was 12 years old. I was being told and made fun of by family members that my bum was too big. I was very self-conscious of that, so I never really went out a lot. I used to read a lot, secluded myself a lot, then went to university, and when I was there, found a very nice guy, and 3 days before I graduated, I found out that I was pregnant. And then we decided together that I was going to have an abortion. And after that, the relationship fell apart, and I got depressed. I was working at Levi Strauss also at the same time, in Waterfront part-time, and I lost a lot of weight, and they were like, wow, actually, you look good, and my manager was giving me more shifts. I was being sent on fashion shows. If there was something happening for Levi Strauss, I was there. And the relationship with the boyfriend didn't work out. And all I had to hold on to was the fact that people were telling me that I'm looking good. The first few times I tried to purge, it was difficult, and then after a while it became easy. I would purge about maybe 6-8 times a day, and sometimes I actually enjoyed it, you know. I enjoy the fact that, because I love food, I've always loved food, and I thought, wow, so I could eat and then do this and still look okay. And then, of course, the signs started happening that something is wrong. My hands started darkening. If I didn't eat and purge, I couldn't actually really go to work. And when I'm at work, that's all that I thought about. And I couldn't socialize with people. And if I wanted to socialize with people and not think about food and do that, I had to drink something. The past 3 months I'd been here, it was the happiest 3 months of my life in a very long time. I literally used to wake up and say, wow, look at this view, hey? I live in Stellenbosch, I work in Stellenbosch, and I screwed it up. The last time everything was normal was on the 18th. We had wrapped up our first publication for June at work, which has been very, very stressful. I've been getting up at 5, having less than 8 hours sleep. It's been stressed. Nobody was really talking because we didn't know if we were going to make it. Then we all went out to celebrate. There's somebody who's I've been kind of like seeing on and off, but he's got problems, and he came to join us, and from then onwards the whole weekend just became just me using the excuse to the fact that we'd done so well at work to just go out and have a good time. And then I didn't go to work. I phoned in and said I'm not feeling well, and I wasn't eating. Also, I think I have to kind of mention that I kind of feel like no whatever happens in my life, if I'm not eating, I'm achieving something. So, but for me not to eat, I have to be drinking something.
So when last have you had a drink?
2 weeks Thursday from now. I've got my name on the editorial page of a magazine. It says, Ellen. This is called a double spread page. I had no one to share it with. I'm an addict. I'm drinking, and when I'm drinking, everything falls apart. When I'm drinking, it's like the only thing I can think about is drinking. You don't understand. I just wanted to do what normal people do. That's all that I wanted to do, because I really was getting up like normal people do. I'd prepare my clothes before for work. That's all that I wanted to do. I just wanted to do what normal people do.
To hell and back.
I thought I was doing okay. My mind was saying, okay, fine, we're going to get your next fix. You have so many clients, you have resources, you can do that. They know you charge, and even if you have to drop your prices to get the money, that's fine. And then I would go call up a dealer or something and just say I need to fix me up just to make me feel a little bit better. But I started with a joint, and then I just started, let's just go to your choice of drug, which was meth. And then that just spirals out, you know. And once that gets going, then I want to go out and I want to see people again, and it's back to the same dark alley. And I know where that ends up. My rock bottom was a few months before December, about 3 months before December. Living on the streets, living in the company gardens. All resources shut down. Boyfriend shut out, you know, there's nothing left anymore. Family want nothing to do with me since the beginning. And when I see clients, they would just walk the other way because, you know, wait, here comes trouble, you know.
I went to Angels.
gay club, and then I met this chick. And I don't know, I left the scene for quite a while. Eh? She got me, well, I got reunited with my family, and I started working, and I built myself up. Eh? I worked for my mom and dad's company for years, and then I ended up working for an NGO. And we used to read the paper, and I used to come in, and then I opened up the newspaper, and there's this picture of... And I read the story, and it's like this guy had been caught, and a woman from as far as England had come forward to say that he also molested them, and if anybody has contact, please contact. I remember it's 083, and I just picked up the phone and I phoned her, and from there on, whew, I could explain his house to the detail. I could tell you how to get from his bar, through the kitchen, out the back door, down the pathway, to the back swimming pool. It started off the first time at his house. We went to go braai there. He put me up on the bar. The thing was, he was buying drinks. And I think I was swimming in my panties. And then he would touch you there and lick you there. And then he would take his thing out and make you touch him. And in the swimming pool, he'd be swimming with you, popping you up and down, but his hands is in your costume. And then one time I remember I was babysat. I do all these like sick things. I know my mother denies this, but I know it happened. I know I did tell her, and I know that it was just decided. My dad was very angry. It was decided that he's old. I don't think that they also maybe knew what could be done. Like my mother said in the email, if she could rewrite the book, she would. She can't. So I just... You know, it's just one of those things. It's just, I've become such a disappointment to them, and it wasn't my fault. You know, and I just sometimes just feel that I need them to say that to me, that we know that it wasn't your fault. Because I still have so much bad feelings, you know, about myself. I feel guilt. Because, I mean, at the time that I was going through this whole mess up in my life, things were coming right. I mean, my mum and dad started their own business. We'd bought a house. And I mean, I think my mother's, they wanted it to come right. You know what I mean? And all the opportunities and chances for me would have been there. But I was on the downward spiral of rebellion. You know, after being molested and doing things when you're 7, doing things when you're 21. When you hit 14, it's a bit of a hell of a confusion. Puberty is not normal for you then. I was very, very hurt by the fact that my mother didn't come to court. It was one day that I just needed a loving hand, a hug, and a real emotional support, and I had nothing. And then that was it. I took out all my money out of my bank account. My house, it was fully furnished, 2-bedroom house, became unfurnished. I mean, 10,000 rand on crack you can spend in 24 hours. It was just absolute, instant degradation, down to low life, and to nothing.
I used to run a very successful consultancy. I mean, I used to have lots of other vehicles, beautiful small holding with lots of money there in Penhill. Yeah, I've actually lost everything. I mean, the money's not so important, but I'm talking now about probably if I should put a quantum on it and work it out, it's probably like 1.6 million rand. It's gone. Like when I was staying out in Hout Bay for a while because I could afford to pay. But then sometimes you have bad months and it's just dipping in and I can't any longer. Then I got to just go and just go to some friends and then hang out there for a few days or whatever, and then until I get sorted out again and I go off again. You don't have a spot to keep your stuff. You got to sort of keep your stuff in like 10 different places. The things there, and sometimes you forget where your things are. So sometimes you get in stuff is just gone. Of course, in terms of family closeness, that's gone, you know. Up to last year, I was always able to pay school fees a year in advance. This year was the first year I couldn't do it. In my case, you try to intellectualize, I don't really need that, but ultimately you do need that, you know. Sometimes you look, I go somewhere and see, hey, there's a young kid playing with the parents on, and I really miss that a lot, obviously. So yes, that has really made horrible inroads in my heart or my soul.
To hell and back.
Die toffel by die casino verskil van hoe dit werk hier. Hier speel ons 21. Ek hoef maar net een ronde te speel vir my om R50 bymekaar te maak, dan gebruik ek R50 om te rook. Altyd as ek geld het, dan ek mag vandag R1000 in my hand net. Môre het ek niks. Die feit dat ek nou nie weer my habit kan bekostig nie. En ek werk mos nou nie weer nie, en toe het my gekos om nou my broer se kosbare items te steel en te verkoop, maar hy is die ene wat nou altyd nou daar gewees het wat nog gehelp probeer het om vir my 'n beter persoon gemaak het. Toe vir die jaar toe spandeer hy R25.000 op my op intuition fee by Temlin, maar ek het uitgedrop en so ek het baie kwaad gedoen aan my broer, en soos ek gesê het, en ek vra toch maar nog een keer verskoning.
I am the father of 3 beautiful children. My wife is also working, she's an advocate. In 2008, my wife was busy studying for a master's in law. And I came in, and I know that she gets a lot of tension in her back when she sits in front of a computer or in front of a desk all the time. And I wanted to rub her shoulders just to try and loosen a bit of tension. And the next moment I just felt nauseous and so on, and I said to her, I'm going to fall. And then I apparently just blacked out. My family was angry because they felt that I had a stroke because of my lifestyle and being overweight and inactive. I can remember when I was in hospital after the stroke. I was there for about 3-4 weeks. They didn't visit me that frequently. On one side, I felt a bit neglected. But I know it's difficult for them also to see me in a certain situation. They like to go, for instance, for a walk up Table Mountain. They like to go just walk, what is that, Lion's Head. And I can't even get out of the car. It's not as if I really want to climb a mountain every day. But it does bother me that I'm not able to participate in some physical activity where they focused on. I know that they would like a thinner Jacques, for instance, and probably half of me, but I actually warn them and I say, you might not like the thinner Jacques, because maybe the thinner Jacques is going to be, very arrogant or very whatever. That's the chance, we're all taking.
In the beginning, I used to think that I did it because I felt empty inside, because I've been hurt and because I had decided just before varsity to go through with the abortion. I thought it was that. But then I got pregnant and it still continued. I had my daughter, it still continued. So I was not empty inside anymore. That child I wanted more than anything in the whole entire world. And when she came, she was just the most amazing, wow, 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 wow. She's a firecracker, she is alive, she is warm, she is loving. And I used to think, okay, you've got it now, so, but it was still there, you know?
Where is she?
My husband kidnapped her and took her to the Congo. March 15 last year. He had temporary custody of her, but you know, you can't just take a child out of the country with the passport without both parents signing for it. So that's why I use that word. It probably is not a right word to use, but she's not in the country. I'll tell you one thing. I want to be loved. I miss my daughter so much. I miss her every single day. And I know that getting fucked up and getting drunk and being happy is not going to bring her back. I know that. I know that. But what am I supposed to do in the meantime? I'm only human. I'm only human. For fuck's sake, give me a break.
To hell and back.
I lived with my grandparents in Kensington and used to come home weekends on a Friday, Saturday and Sunday back to Crossy Park. When I see a father and a son going to mosque is what I've always wanted. Now, I've never went to the mosque with my dad. I disappointed him. I'm the only son, so my surname stops right here. There's no grandchildren from here, you know. Family doesn't move forward, so. My mom always used to tell me when I come home and come visit, greet your father, you know. And I always say to myself, but why should I? He's always given me the nod, a look, you know, but never greeted. And because when I see father and son together, I cringe. I start feeling it hits me hard inside, and it's uneasy feelings, very emotional. I wish I had, you know, that goes off my head. And I like that look. I like the father and son look, and it's something I'll never experience. I've tried many times with my dad up until today. I have boundaries in the home. I cannot move further than the lounge area. That's how far it's gone, you know. He doesn't want to see me, he doesn't want to hear me. I haven't even spoken to him in years. But he's there, you know.
Allah Akbar.
My husband and I have been together for 9 years. I met him when I was in Durban. I was working on the streets in Durban. He was visiting people in the block of flats where I used to buy my drugs, and he tried to call me, but obviously I didn't want to know who he was. I wanted to just go and score and do my thing. And he followed me in, and I thought, oh, he wanted to smoke some of my drugs. So I gave him a mouthful. You know, in that life that you're in, guys only see you for one thing. And he was the first person to ever say, but, you know, don't you want to do something else with your life, or don't you want to stop? It was very difficult because, I mean, I was torn between this attraction and then my love for drugs. We had 7 rand the day that he decided to go and put us into the shelter. And he said, are you going to make this change with me and you're not going to go back to the streets, you're not going to smoke rocks? And I said, no. And he took his 7 rand. He booked for me to go in. I had nothing. I didn't even have a panty. The next day, he paid for me to stay in and he came back with a suitcase full of women's clothes for me. And a hairbrush, and shampoo, and conditioner, and anything that a woman would need to make them feel like a woman. And it was just like nobody had ever done anything like that for me. And that's how we started. We built ourselves up, you know, and then it was just unfortunate that we both lost our jobs. I walked out and he was retrenched, and then obviously when he got his Provident Fund, I started my tricks with the drugs again. This space that you see here, this is where I stay 24/7. I mean, I don't go out. I'll think about, you know, maybe when you should go for a walk, and then I think, no, I mean, you know, what if you meet somebody who you know is on drugs? Can you say no? When I read that ad that you guys put in the Athlone News, that was the weekend that I met somebody and I landed up having a few ticks, and I came to my husband and I asked him, must I go buy a cool drink? And I took the money and I told that chick to go and score another bag of tick. And then I went home, and then obviously you feel so sorry for yourself. And I read your ad. And I actually emailed. And now I've got 2 weeks before I finally go to rehab. I'm sure that I'm going to walk away there with lots of insight about my disease and also on how to handle it and suppress it.
Zie, ik ga dinsdag op de 3e van juli en ga naar Kaap toe. Waarom ik ga helpen om me te leren om mezelf te veranderen. Waarom ik ga helpen hoe ik ontslagen kan raken van die dingen wat mij zelf zo goed wordt in mijn hart. En is niet die rokerij en die drinkerij en die gedoffelerij. Maar dan gaan we ook helpen hoe om te dealen met issues, met persoonlijke issues. En af en toe verlang van zielen af. Vanavond van zie je was ze ondersteunen. Was het te zien en zo ik nooit die geweest vannacht. Ik geloof niet dat ik zo oud die ouderdom kon bereiken, die was het te zien. Van ziet ingestaan van mijn ma en van mijn pa, aangezien alle plichten nagekomen die om voor ons groot te maken en ons te komen brengen op die positie waar ik nou is vandaag. Wat ik net op het nou kan zeggen is dank je voor alles. Wat ze gedaan in mijn leven en dank je voor die rol wat ze spelen in mijn leven. Dank je voor alles. Ik hoop en ik geloof dat als ik terug kom, ik zal mijn zaken kunnen beter hanteren. Want ik geloof aan beter mensen als ik terugkom. Mijn plan is mijn familie met elkaar te brengen.
Ik is blij om dit te horen. En ik wil voor jou dankie zeggen dat je je eigen besluiten genomen hebt. Als een mens voor een mens forceer om iets te doen, dat gaat nou weer niet. Het is beter als het in je hart uitkomt, je wil die ding doen. Ons staan nou 100% achter jou. Ons gaan veel support geven van dat je nou begint.
Alrighty then, I don't know which way we're going.
Okay.
I'm scared. I am so scared. Because I really don't know what's going to happen. I'm scared to bits. But I have to do it.
Welcome to Harmony.
Hey.
Welcome to Harmony.
Ik is bereid om enige enige ding deur te maak, solank dit net sal die uitslag goed sal wees en dat ek 'n veranderde persoon sal wees.
How are you? Good. My name's Moira.
Hector.
Nice to meet you, Hector. Welcome to Armien. Hi.
I'm Ellen.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
You want to come along with me? We'll fill out your admission documents and we get you started. Oh, hi. Hi, Jacques.
No
Yeah,
problem.
hi.
Pleased to meet you.
Sorry.
Nothing would give me greater pleasure than to emerge from it as a father and a husband where my family can really be proud of me and say, Dad, you've done us proud.
I know you'll be okay. I'm used to doing everything for you.
I know. But you know, you need to do something for yourself now, eh?
I wish I could have just cloned myself. Just to do washing and cooking.
You'll be okay.
I think this is the biggest step that I'll be taking towards a life where I will be getting a bit of freedom. I'll be learning how to manage my addiction, deal with my issues of my past, and learning to love myself and moving forward with my life. And I think that I deserve at least a few years of peace, inner peace.
I don't know what happiness is anymore. I always just say, you know, everyone says they want happiness, they want happiness. I just want to be happy. I, on the other hand, said, I just want adrenaline, you know. Happiness is just so overrated. But I do really want to be happy. And I want to get in touch with that. I do want to get in touch with that. I want to be real.
I couldn't sleep last night just because I knew that I was going to come Saturday. No, I just couldn't sleep at all.
I also didn't sleep at all. I was doing washing at 1:30 this morning.
I am shaking. I'm shaking.
I'm shaking inside.